Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Rose Dragon deck profile. So this is actually one of my favorite deck profiles of all time. I have to put this up in at least the 20s of my favorite deck profiles because it is such a versatile deck with such a combo high ceiling in this deck. It's just ridiculous. And it plays some of my favorite cards of all time, like Black Rose Dragon, and I even have some really interesting tech cards in this extra deck that you guys will love to see, because this is one of those decks that when I don't know what I want to play, I play around with this deck because it has so many weird things, and there's not really a wrong way to play it, because you can play it so many different ways, and it's not one of those decks that's on a lot of people's radars. It's like, wait a minute, this guy's playing Rose Dragons? What is that? Because it's just kind of conglomerate of dragon cards. So, without further ado, guys, let's get straight on this. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell there so you can become a part of the notification squad, and let's get straight on into this. So, first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of White Rose Dragon. White Rose Dragon is one of the best cards in the entire deck next to Red Rose Dragon. Basically, when this card is normal summon, you can special summon a Rose Dragon from your hand or grave, and it also has the effect of you can only activate one of these effects per turn. If you control a dragon tuner or a plant tuner, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro materials, you can send one level 4 or lower, or level 4 or higher plant monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is really, really, really good effects. I'm really excited for that because the combos, well, you can activate both of those, but you can only activate each one once per turn. But the effect is basically once you use it as synchro material, you send your Carrot Human to the graveyard, so you can just bring it back and go for other plays. So, the next one that we're going to be playing is 3 copies of Red Rose Dragon. You want to play 3 copies of Red Rose Dragon because basically it's a tuner that combos well with White Rose Dragon. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro materials, you can special summon one Rose Dragon monster from your hand or deck, except another copy of itself. Then, if this card is sent for a synchro summon of Black Rose Dragon or a plant synchro monster, you can add one Frozen Rose or Blooming of the Darkest Rose from your deck to your hand, which we do actually play 3 copies in the deck of Frozen Rose because it's such a good card. So you want to play at least 3 of your Red Rose Dragon. I wish I could play more, but it's just so good. It's such a good card. Then we play 1 copy of Dark Rose Fairy. Dark Rose Fairy is really cool because if a tuner monster is special summon, except during your damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then if this card is in your grave, you can send a card from your hand or field to the grave and place it on top or the bottom of your deck, wherever you want to put it. Which is really cool because it can get you that versatility of controlling the amount of dark monsters in your graveyard, which combos really well with my boy, Dark Armed Dragon. So this deck is really easy to control the amount of dark monsters you have in the graveyard because you only play these as dark monsters. Like the only other ones we play is Destrudo and Carrot Human and the Predaplan engine that I play, but that's not that bad because you're usually going to summon this way beforehand because you can get it to your hand faster. So, then we're going to be playing, definitely give us a like, guys, because we're playing that boy Dark Armed Dragon, and we're playing a common one at that, because we just know we're that cool. So then we actually get to play 1 copy of Tempest, Dragon Ruler of Storms. I never thought I was going to be able to say on my channel that I was playing a Dragon Ruler in a deck. Like, that is just crazy. So basically, the Dragon Ruler says you either banish 2 winds or 2 dragons in a combination of that, and then you can special summon this card from your hand or grave to your side of the field, and that's the big effect about this. And it's good fodder for going into level 7 synchro, or not level 7 synchros, level 8 synchros, or even going into a rank 7 play, which I actually have a card in the deck, or going for link summons, which also is really, really beneficial to this deck. So then we're going to be playing 3 copies of Destrudo. Destrudo is an absolute monster in this deck because Destrudo, and I'm not saying that because it's Yu-Gi-Oh, but Destrudo is really good to be able to synchro summon into level 7 monsters extremely easily by paying half your life once to special summon it to just get those additional plays off. And it also has the ability to be used as link material as well to be able to get out stuff like Boral Sword and even stuff like Wee Witch's Apprentice to give your monsters just that little bit of a boost. Then I play 1 copy of World Carrot Weight Champion. I call it Carrot Human because that's the actual like OCG term for it. But if this card's in your graveyard, you can send a plant monster from your hand or face up from your field to the grave, and then you can special summon it, which is really good to be able to use for link fodder or something like that to get you an additional monster. And it's once per turn, so you can just keep doing it over and over again to keep climbing higher into your link plays. Then we play 3 copies of Predator Plant Orthoscorpio. This is the main card that I usually send if I have multiple copies of it in my hand. But basically, you get to discard you send a monster from your hand to the grave, then you get to special summon another Predator Plant monster, which is always going to be Darling Cobra, which I play double Darling Cobra in this deck because you want to be able to get to your fusion plays as quickly as possible. So basically, you get to add any polymerization or fusion spell card from your deck to your hand when it's special summon, but you can only use its effect once per duel, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, we play 4 different fusion spells in this deck that we're going to add off of this card. 3 copies of Lone Fire. Lone Fire just gets us to our Predaplant Orthoscorpio as quickly as possible, so we can start getting our pluses. 1 copy of Glow Up Bulb. Glow Up Bulb is just so good in this deck because you can use it as a tuner to go into stuff like Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. You can go into things like Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, stuff like Borreload Savage, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, Trishula. Like, I mean, there's just so many easy ways to go into this card. Like, it's just so easy to go into. So then we play 1 copy of Spore. Spore is another really good card in this deck to be able to synchro with. And then for my other cards, for my copies of Brilliant Fusion that I play in this deck, I play 1 copy of Trick Clown. Trick Clown's really good to be able to use for that. 1 copy of Garnet, which is my 2 targets. And then for my 3 hand traps, which is deck as a monstrous monster count, 3 copies of Ash Blossom. You need those 3 copies of Ash Blossom to be able to stop your opponent from doing all sorts of shenanigans. So that's it for the monsters. Let's get into the spells. So we actually don't play any traps in this deck. It's mainly just monsters and spells. In this deck, like I said, it's very, very versatile. So you can play a lot of different stuff. Like if you see something in the extra deck and you're like, man, I really don't think that works, let me throw this in. Like, by all means, the extra deck is where it's most versatile. Like, you can throw in anything you want that's a level 7, 8, or even 9 Synchro monster that works for you better, or Link monster. So, 1 copy of Monster Reborn, 1 copy of Foolish, and 1 copy of Black Garden. These are good 1-ofs in this deck. Black Garden's a searchable by Garden Maiden, so that's why you play it, and it's part of combo in the deck that's really, really cool. 1 copy of Brilliant Fusion as well to be able to go into your Seraphonite to get that additional normal summon. 3 copies of Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion is such a good card in this deck to bait your opponent's hand traps and do all sorts of crazy shenanigans on your turn and then stop your opponent from hand trapping you as well with Millenniumizer Strict. 3 copies of Called by the Grave, and 3 copies of Frozen Rose. So the reason you play Called by the Grave in this deck is because you want to stop your opponent from hand trapping you as quickly as possible. And the reason you play Frozen Rose is because it has the effect of you can either send a monster you control to the graveyard, and depending on what it is, depends on the effect. If it's a plant, during your end phase, you draw 2 cards and then discard 1. If it's a non-plant, you get to add up a level 4 or lower plant monster from your deck to your hand, which can get us stuff like Lone Fire Blossom to get even deeper into our plays, which is really, really, really good to be able to just instantly get Lone Fire from our deck to our hand by just summoning, something random. Like I can go into Seraphonite, get my additional normal summon Orthoscorpio, flip this, tribute the Seraphonite, and then go for Lone Fire to get another Orthoscorpio on the field, activate one of their effects, summon like Darling Cobra. Like it's just endless possibilities with this card. Like this deck is so versatile to do whatever you want. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So we're going to be playing 1 copy of Black Rose Dragon because the deck is Black Rose, it's Rose Dragons. And 1 copy of Black Rose Moonlight Dragon because it is, again, Black Rose Dragon, the deck. So you do need to have both of these cards in the extra deck to be able to get into all sorts of different plays. 1 copy of Garden Rose Maiden. This card is really good. If this card is special summon, you get to add a Black Garden directly from your deck to your hand, and then you can manage this card from your graveyard, then target a Rose Dragon monster or Dragon Synchro monster in your grave, and instantly special summon it to your side of the field. So it's just that good to be able to special summon stuff. 1 copy of Borreload Savage Dragon, because this is the main card that I go into the extra deck for. 1 copy of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, again, another MVP of the extra deck that I'm going to be going for all the time. Trishula, another one. This one's awesome to go for. I don't go for this as much as I go for Crystal Wing and Borreload, but I do go for these a lot. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. It's a little awkward to get to this one because you have to have a Dark Dragon as a synchro material, and what you're going to have to do is use your Borreload. Now, you could totally take this out if you wanted to and play something like F.A. Dawn Dragster to get the same effect where you get to negate things on the field, and that is totally an option. That's the really cool thing about this deck. If you see something that's like, man, I don't see myself going into that much, this deck is constantly improving. You can constantly edit what the extra deck is in this deck to play any monster that you want. I could throw Beals in here if I wanted to throw Beals in here. I could throw, and it would work. Beals, I could throw F.A. Dawn Dragster, I could throw Cyverse Quantum Dragon, another Garden Road Maiden, like, the problem is with this deck is that you don't have enough extra deck spaces to play all the things that you want to play. So the little tech card that I'm actually playing in this deck is one copy of Red Eye's Flare Metal Dragon. So I wanted to play this in the deck because I love Black Rose Dragon and I love Flare Metal Dragon. And so I wanted to play this as a as my only XYZ monster in the entire deck, because you can make this really easily with something like a Tempest and a Black Rose, or a Tempest and a Black Rose Moonlight, or even Tempest plus Dark Armed Dragon once Dark Armed Dragon's lived up to what it needed to do to pop things on the field. And then you can just start burning your opponent for 500 every turn, every time they activate something that any effect. Then I play one copy of Thousand Eyes Restrict and one copy of Millennium Eyes Restrict. See, that's another thing. If you want to, you can drop one of these and put Cyverse Quantum, F.A. Dawn Dragster, anything that you want, Beals, anything that you want in this deck. That's why this deck is in my top 25 or top 20 of my deck profiles, is because the extra deck is so versatile. You can change out anything you want to make this deck yours. And every extra deck is going to be different for Rose Dragons. Everybody's extra deck is different. One copy of Seraphonite. Seraphonite just gets you that additional normal summon. You have to play it with Brilliant Fusion. Boral Sword, because it's the OTK maker. Boral, or I want to say Boral Load, but Seraphonite, Jasmine, because you play so many copies of plant monsters and so easy to go into. One copy of Wee Witch Apprentice, and then one copy of Link Rebo, just to round it all off. So that's it for the deck, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this one. I've even thought about throwing Gigaplan in here just to make it really weird, because you can special summon that off of Aroma, Seraphy, Jasmine, and then get it to have that additional normal summon to even go higher in your ceiling. But I just don't know about that. I feel like it would be a little weird to be able to play that. And you can also add it off of your Rose, Frozen Rose, because you get to add one level 4 or lower, level 4 or lower. There's one that levels level 5, level 4 higher. I think it was your, yeah, there it is. It's a White Rose Dragon that lets you send a level 4 or higher plant monster from your deck to the grave. Then you can just revive it with another means, like something like your copies of, like, Monster Reborn or something like that, and then get plays off. So really weird combos in this deck. Like, I'm even expanding on this deck while I'm doing this video. So anyways, guys, that's it for the deck profile. I really hope you enjoyed this deck. Definitely give it a try. If you don't have, like, this deck could be really budget if you play it the way you want to play it. So it has a lot of options to be able to play around with. The main thing is that you play the Rose Dragons in the deck, and you play 3 Destrudo and the Dark Armed Dragon. Like, that's my main, like, pet peeve that everybody needs to play to be a Rose Dragon deck. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell on there so you can become a part of the notification squad. And thank you so much for 10,000. I cannot express that enough. I cannot believe that we actually got to that point, and we're going to even get bigger and better from here on out. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Like I said before, hit the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.